Howdy, this is Marisa with Marisa Moments podcast, where I give you my real life stories and their healing translations. So let's just get straight into it. So, I was a pill baby. I mean, we're really just getting straight into it right now, huh? So I was a pill baby, and to be more specific, in the lapse between pills of switching brands, right? So I was supposed to be here. Let's get a little bit deeper in the story of me. Probably about, I don't know, maybe 9 years ago, a snow brick fell off of a 3-story building, off the very top, and hit me in the back of my head. I was leaned over my, at the time, like 1.5-year-old daughter. So I happily took the hit in her stead, because it would have hit her directly in the face had I not been there. I laughed at it. I literally laughed. So, fun fact, when I'm in pain, I don't often, well, I do cry, but I more so laugh than I cry when I experience physical pain or trauma. It's just how I respond to things, right? Okay, so three-story ice brick. Let's see what else. I delivered twin girls, and immediately after having them naturally, I began to hemorrhage just a crazy amount. By the time the doctors noticed what was happening, I had already lost 4 liters of blood. By the time they were able to do an emergency hysterectomy and stop the bleeding, in total, I had lost 8 liters of blood. I knew I was going to die, right? That's a story for another time to get into detail. So there's that. I ended up having to have subsequent surgeries and all of these things, right? And there's been so many times throughout my just existence on this earthly realm within this one lifetime, even though I always say that I have had several lives within this one lifetime, because even a former therapist used to call me a cat because she said I had 9 lives because I always survived everything. It was like the world was literally throwing everything and the kitchen sink and the table and the silverware and everything at me, right? But I'd always survive. I got to one point where I actually tried to bring about my own expiration. You might have heard about it. It's a previous podcast. I don't try to be, quiet about it. It's no big secret, but I also don't choose to brag about it. It was a very low time. And so I tried to, not necessarily relieve myself, but relieve those around me from the burden that I saw myself to be by downing a bottle of pills, right? Again, survived. I've survived every single thing that has come my way, whether it be abuse within relationships, whether it be just mental torment and anguish, anxiety, depression, to extremes, right? Medicated anxiety and depression, going into a all-day treatment facility where I would go essentially like school or work hours to be treated for my mental issues. I've experienced so much. I've been overseas for travel for work. I've done all different types of things, many different lifetimes in this one life, right? But I'm mentioning this because one, Spirit is like, you got to tell them more about yourself, right? Tell them more, give them more, because they're curious and they want to know who you are and what you've been through, right? So I'm here. I'm happy to oblige. Technically, I am an open book, but I don't just open the pages without being asked, right? So anywho, the translation behind that is I survived every single thing that came my way, whether it be broken trust, physical altercations, life-threatening emergencies, near-death experiences, things that have and would have taken many people out, And they have, right? I survived. And the reason Spirit, aside from sharing who a little bit more in depth as far as who I am and what I've been through, the reason Spirit wants me to share that with you is because you have to know that you are capable of surviving anything and everything. Like, you have to know that, right? Like, you have to know that. I mean, yes, I sought therapy. I went to therapy for years and years. And it was only through divine intervention that I stopped going. I probably would have still been attending to this day. And I think it was a blessing. You know, everything happens for a reason. So me attending therapy to me no longer attending therapy was all part of the divine plan. Same thing with me going to the mental health classes and, you know, just anything else, right? So the bottom line is know, trust, and believe that even though you may have been through the storms of the storms of the storms, felt like you hit rock bottom and then you're like, oh my gosh, there was a false ground and now a new rock bottom is revealed, right? And this kind of repeatedly happens. Trust me, I understand. I get the notion of feeling like you have the rug pulled out from under you and having doom and gloom in your cards for everything that you look at, right? I totally get it. However, the thing of it is that I survived. And look at us. So far you have too. And not to say that these things aren't difficult to get past or to get through, but what it is saying is that it is possible. So whenever you feel like giving up, remember the times that you survived. Think about that. Focus on the good as opposed to the darkness. Because, I mean, you know, the darkness is always there. It's all about where you choose to focus your vision. But at the end of the day, it's completely up to you. So I'm not going to keep going on and on about, yeah, you can do it. Because, I mean, we both know you can. Let's just be honest. We both know you're strong AF. We both know that you've survived so many things that should have killed you or would have had you been anyone else. So the reason you're here is with purpose. So let's just walk in that. And that's it. So if this message resonates, then that means it's for you. And if not, that's cool too. Just keep it pushing. Either way, I thank you for listening, and I wish you the very best day ever. Until next time, you know the vibes. Peace. And by the way, don't forget to check me out on all of social media. I'm basically everywhere that you probably shouldn't be. But when you look me up, don't forget it's Marisa with one S and not two, because there's only one me. So that's Marisa Moments. And should Spirit move you, and I know He will, go on ahead and send a contribution. Marisa Moments is solely ran off of donations. I do not charge for anything that I offer currently. And so remember, small donations create large ripples. All information will be included in the description. So thank you in advance. And until next time, happy healing.